I think this month is going to be the test of whether or not I can live a bullet journal only lifestyle. Hi everybody, today I am going to be setting up my bullet journal for the month of March 2021, and I have got some changes going on in my life over the next few months. We are going to be moving to Denver due to some work things for my husband. I explain more of it in the Power Sheets video from a couple days ago. I'll link that up above, but I will be talking more and more about it over the next couple months. So if you're interested in seeing somebody move from California to Denver while planning it and all of that, then this is definitely a channel you want to subscribe to. I will say that I am highly stressed out. Stress is a big part of my body right now. I need my bullet journal to help me manage the tasks I have to do for work, around the house normally, and to get ready for the move. All of those things need to be juggled this month, and so I need my bullet journal to be able to support me in that. On top of that, my kids are going back to 4 days a week of half days of school starting couple days from now. There's just a lot happening all at once, and I need my planner to help me with that. So bullet journal, it's time for you to flex your muscles. Let me talk a little bit about the supplies I'm going to be using in this month's setup. I have my Baron Fig plus size Confidant notebook. It is 7 by 10 inches. I freaking love it, and I love having the bigger size. Honestly, I think the bigger size is part of the reason I feel comfortable with a bullet journal and not an extra planner like I used to in the past. I just have more room for activities. It has the leather cover that I splurged on, and I really love touching it. I will sit and just touch my planner. We'll have super special Cindy and planner time, not gonna lie. Pen wise, I have my usual motley crew of fine liners in different sizes. I think in this particular setup I plan to mostly use an 05 Tombow mono drawing pen and an 02 Pigma Micron because I can't find my 05 Pigma Micron, as well as a couple of different white pens, a gel pen and a paint pen, just in case I need them. I'll be using a pencil, some whiteout tape just in case, again, of mistakes. For stamping, I have my Notebook Therapy stamp and a Prima chalk ink edger that they don't actually make anymore, but it's what I've got. I'm not going to buy more ink when I rarely stamp in the first place. I have a Fiskars tool for cutting when I do my fancy cutout situation. Hopefully I don't cut myself, as well as a squishy stamp mat sent by one of you guys. Shout out to you. And a small cutting mat, like one of those healable cutting mats that I can use for, again, the fancy cutting situation. For my color palette, I wanted to go with greens this month, and I actually had several different ideas that I thought could be fun, and I let my patrons vote on them, and I think that's going to be a regular thing over on the Patreon. So if you want to check that out, it is linked down below. But my patrons decided, it was a close call between the top two, but they decided to go with the daffodil theme with a mixture of greens and yellows. So for that color palette, I have a dark green Tombow. I've got a couple of other greens. I've got a couple of lighter yellows, and then one really bright saturated yellow. It's a mixture of Tombow brush pens and Pitt Artist brush pens. I've got those numbered in the description below in case you want to give that color palette a try. For the doodle this month, I want to do daffodils, and I don't want to use a lot of color or a lot of like bells and whistles. I want to keep the doodles kind of simple. Drawing daffodils can be kind of a pain in the ass. You have to draw that like cup, that bell shape that's the center of the daffodil, and that generally for me goes okay. It's adding the petals around it that I have to be careful about. The method I've found that works the best for me is to draw the petal that points up and the petal that points down, and then kind of build them out from there, and that tends to be where I avoid some of the awkwardness. But not gonna lie, drawing daffodils has always been a little awkward for me, so it's kind of weird that I was really excited to do them, but they are the flower of March, which is why I put them in as one of the options for my patrons, and then they picked it because they wanted me to draw them. Maybe they hate me. No, I don't think they hate me. That's not really how Patreon works, is it? Now that we have gone over the supplies and the doodle for the month, let's get right into my March bullet journal setup. I'm going to continue the thing I've been doing the last couple of months and do a quote here and then a cover page here with my task list underneath. This last month I didn't use the quote page as a brain dump, but I was happy to have it anyway. It kind of gives like a simplistic looking area. Anyway, the quote I have for this month is actually from Phyllis Diller, and if you watched my Power Sheets video, then you know that I am in the process of needing to declutter and get my house clean and get it ready for selling. And so the quote I'm going to put is, "Housework can't kill you, but why take a chance?" That's Phyllis Diller. I'm kind of wanting to go with like no color on the florals and very little color otherwise. I've got so much shit going on in my life right now that I want, like this last month in February was a little bit more simplistic, but I kind of want to even lean harder. I keep saying lean into, that sounds so silly, but like I keep wanting to like be a little bit more simplified when it comes to the stuff I'm doing in the bullet journal. Like I want it to be pretty, but I want it to be mellow. Also, if it's mellow, it's a little bit easier to keep up with. And I spelled it wrong. And I'm going like completely off kilter here. Whose work? Do I want to glue pages together? No, because I've already measured everything on these other pages. Fuck that shit. Okay, we're going to live the whiteout lifestyle, I think. That is, you know, a sign that things are going to go great this month. All right, that's not crooked, and it's spelled right. Let's move on. Very simple quote. I didn't want to, maybe I'll add a line around it, like a box. Although I don't plan on doing a lot of boxes. Maybe like a simple box. Yeah, let's do a simple box. There. I think that gives it like the kind of like clean look I'm sort of trying to go for with a little bit of color. It's sort of centered, and the whiteout sort of looks okay, but, or, you know, it's all about the sorta here, man. For this page, I counted in, I don't remember how many squares. I don't even think I counted in. I think I just sort of estimated. But I did it on this page and on this page because I'm going to cover my task list up with this situation. And what I want to do is basically just recreate like this daffodil, like here, just one daffodil with like a box kind of similar to this that says March. I was going to do lousy smarch weather. That's the Simpsons quote, but I did that last year right before COVID started. And I may not always be superstitious, but when I am, it involves the Simpsons. So I want to kind of center March over where the cut is going to be. So I guess I'll just freeball it because that hasn't caused me any problems thus far today. Not at all. I just added like one little dot of white over that A just because the M and the A got a little close together. So I added a second blossom to my daffodil because the first one I drew wasn't big enough for the space I wanted to cover, but I'm actually kind of happy with how it turned out. I'm really happy with how it turned out, actually. So I really like how simple this looks. I feel like maybe I need to add a little bit of yellow somewhere, but I haven't quite figured out where yet. So until then, maybe around here. I really like how this looks. Now it's time to do the cutting. Oh God. I'm going to just cut down and then around, and let's hope that I don't fuck this up because I don't want to draw this again. I feel like I'm getting too detailed with this and I'm going to regret it. All right, moment of truth. Let's find out how badly I screwed this up. Way more detailed than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. There's one little spot I think I kind of, it's not as bad as I thought it could be, but I need some like little mini scissors. Little mini scissors, where the hell are you? To kind of snip the spot that I sort of janked up right here. And then maybe round these corners a bit because I just don't like how it looks when it's like the super straight corner. I like things to be a little rounded. I'm still not sure whether or not I need to add some more yellow to this or not, though. We'll come back to that. All right, I'm gonna get my task list set up. You know, one thing I saw Shada Campbell do in her most recent bullet journal video was she drew like a really light pattern on the back of this page to kind of show up right here. And I think I'm going to do that with yellow and the very lightest yellow that I've got. And maybe that will be the thing that feels like I've added a little extra color. I like that. And I'm going to add that little bit of yellow. I don't know if I'm going to continue with this throughout the situation, but at the very least here for these cover pages, I like adding that little bit of yellow to the capital letters. You can't even see it that well here on the camera, I don't think, but it does have like a nice, like light kind of background that still keeps it very like clean and minimal looking. So here is my cover page. I'm still filming this in February, so I'll fill this in when I get closer to March. Lousy March weather. No, Cindy, don't say that. No. I already thought about what I wanted to do for these calendar and habit tracker page. I want to draw like one daffodil here, have a calendar just on this side with a simple line calendar, and then put my habit trackers here. Even last month when I was trying to be simple with my setup, it still turned into color explosion. So I'm trying to sort of step back. All my colors this month are very similar to each other, so it's like I just use whatever green or yellow is appropriate to this situation. This calendar is 4 across, like each day is 4 across and 6 down. I wanted to make them have like kind of a narrower look. I just took a second. I added a little bit of light yellow behind the days of the week, and I put in with one of the greens my custody of my kids just to have that there. And then I will enter in like my videos and shit because I kind of use this to track some of that later when I start putting in all my tasks and stuff. All right, so this gives me my calendar, and I really like how simple it looks. I haven't decided if I'm going to put a daffodil down here as well or a weekly tracker. I'm thinking about combining like these guys down here, what is it? Like the sink and the kitchen into one, and doing like 2, and then a weekly tracker, because generally the sink and the kitchen I do at the same time. I mean, I do a lot of them at the same time, but they're kind of like you wipe. I only have a counter and a half, like one small counter and then one very small counter. Eventually when we move, we will hopefully have a bigger kitchen, fingers crossed. But right now our kitchen is tiny. So if I did the counters and not the sink, that would be a very strange moment in time, because probably including my sink is still less counter space than most people who don't live in like New York apartments have. I think what I will do is just draw in my daffodil first and just leave space. I know I need to leave at least like like my daffodil needs to kind of go like this. Free balling never hurt anybody in this room recently. I'm still not sure if I want to put color with the doodles or not. Like I'm very torn on that. So I'm gonna put my habit trackers here. I think I should be able to fit 2 next to each other, do 4, and then do a weekly tracker down here on the bottom. And maybe that's where I'll add the color. I mean, I'm gonna color them in, or I might not color them in, who knows. I'll add the colors. So, but we got to stamp, and that means it's time for this month's segment of Cindy Can't Stamp for Shit. Okay, now we got to remember all the steps, right? You ink the stamp, you put the squishy underneath the paper, and then you huff the stamp. Huff. ASMR. Okay. Oh, it's so crooked, but it worked. This stamp itself is like slightly crooked on the block, so it's never going to be like super straight. Or maybe by the end of my bullet journal, I'll have figured it out. Don't be fooled by the blocks that I've got, because I'm still Jenny from the stamp block. Oh, there's a little furry Murray. One more. Oh, man. Do you want to risk it? Oh, I risked it, and it was a bad risk. Oh, god damn it. I guess I'll have to clean it up. I guess. We'll cover this little... Whoops. Why are you not working whiteout? Why are you being fucking hateful on me when I'm in crisis? All right, we covered that up. And then I guess what I will do is just like take my little pen here, kind of cleaned it up. They're all crooked and shit, but whatever. Yeah, you know what? I think adding color to these calendars is going to be plenty of color for this situation. All right, so there's the daily habits, and then I guess I can get a weekly habit tracker down here. And I think I'll draw it in with the O2 as well to kind of keep it feeling the same line width as the habit trackers. Is that too much color? Maybe. I think I'm going to thicken up the line widths of these habit trackers and all 5 habit trackers. I think that I'd rather have them be matching at least the outside of the calendar. And now kind of looking at this overall, I think that I want to just add one more daffodil down here to just sort of balance the whole situation out. Maybe? Yeah, because I think I need something with no color added. I think that's the balance I'm looking for. Here's my monthly calendar spread. I actually really like how this turned out. I'm liking how like peaceful this is looking. Peaceful. Is that a word for me right now? Maybe. This spread is going to be for an ideal week thinking about time batching. If you watched my Power Sheets video, you will have seen that I am hoping to, at the very least, manage my time wisely over the next month. Want to make sure that I'm giving myself time for working and time for decluttering and getting the house ready to sell, and not cannibalizing one for the other, specifically work. Like, I just don't want work to get fucked over because of I need to get shit done. So what I'm doing is creating this spread where what I will do is kind of come up with sort of how I want my weeks to go, like batch my time when those batches, we don't need no stinking batches, when those batches will be utilized, if that makes sense. What I want is to be able to say, like, on this day, I'm going to do these things for work, and then on these other days, I'm going to do these things for decluttering or whatever in these time frames. So it's not like it's going to be something that, like, I have to stick to completely, but I will be wanting to utilize it as a guide. And I am giving myself from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. because I usually make dinner in the evening, and then I crash. So for the different categories, I have admin work, which is, like, my inbox, updating Google Sheets and Asana and finances and analytics and backing files up. And I've got some monthly tasks I have to do and like office kinds of work, you know? And then I have content creation, which is specifically around like the planning and the finishing of content. So planning videos, editing videos, writing emails for the book club, creating the content calendar, making art, making fuckery flowers, etc. And then I have photography for Instagram and Reels and Etsy listing photos, stuff for the website, for projects that I'm doing, for freelance, whatever. Any pictures I need to take where they need to like be lit well, I try and do those all in one time so that I can take advantage of whatever setup I'm using. And then camera ready stuff is things where I have to be on. So lives, face forward filming, hands down filming, podcasts, Zoom calls, Skillshare filming, interviews, and vlogs. And then for my 2 home categories, I have housework and errands. So regular shit that I sometimes do during the workday, like laundry and dishes, meal planning and prep, getting groceries, and going to the pharmacy. And doctor's appointments, things like that as well. And then the last category will be the things having to do with moving. So moving binder, decluttering, research, packing, and planning. And I haven't actually filled this in yet. I am going to do that probably this weekend when I have some time to sit. So if it is finished by the time I do my first March weekly setup, that will be this coming up Sunday, February 28th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And hopefully I'll have this to show you. I really like the daffodil I decided to put on the side and adding a little March time batching. It still feels a little bit like I want more color, but there will be more color because each of these colors I put for a category, I'm going to use as boxes in the ideal kind of week. I'm going to continue tracking my sleep. It did not go very well. I only got about halfway through the month and then just kind of gave up on it because I was just so stressed out. But now that I have an Apple Watch and an app, it'll be a lot easier to pull the numbers for it. And what I want to track this time is instead of waking up and going to bed, just the amount of sleep that I get. And then on this side is just going to be a basic video planning. I did not use the full 2-page spread last month, so I thought 1 page will be fine. And if I decide that I want to do a second page or whatever, I can always add it in later. So this particular sleep tracker, I put the days down the side, and I'm so excited that I counted correctly. And then across the bottom, I am just doing number of hours through 12 hours total because there are some days where I just am crashed out. But I gave myself 2 squares per hour so that I could easily mark in Ojai mark 15 or half-hour increments. I'm just going to write sleep tracker across the top. It's going to have color on it. I'm probably just going to alternate between greens and yellows on here. There's not going to be any color coding or anything. It's going to be very simple. Just how many hours of sleep am I getting a night? I just want it to be simple, simple, simple. And then on this side, I am just going to do a video notes page, and that's it. And I'm not even going to put any decoration on this page, I don't think. I think I'm just going to leave it plain, mostly because I am really enjoying like the daffodil. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just put some leaves. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And then to kind of make it look similar to what I did for the quote, I will just draw in the box for video planning. Maybe I'll draw a box for the sleep tracker as well. This makes me wish I had put the sleep tracker kind of a little higher. Instead, maybe what I'll do is I'll just draw some leaves right there kind of on the corner. And that makes it look a little bit more like I tried. And that kind of has some symmetry to it. So sleep tracker, video planning. So let's take a look back at everything that I have done for the month of March. So we have the quote page with the cover, exorbitant whiteout. And then we have a very simple monthly calendar with my cleaning habits for the month, time batching setup, which I will show you filled in this coming up Sunday at 2:30. And then we have a very, very simple video planning page and sleep tracker page. I was going to do a much more complicated spread for decluttering, but it occurred to me that if I do that, I will be spending time on the spread, but not time on the decluttering. So I think I'll just go with the one I have in my power sheets for right now. And if I feel the need to break it down a little bit more granularly, then I will put that in here on one of my weekly bullet journal setups. Anyway, I would love to hear from you in the comments below what you are going to be doing, what colors and ideas you're going to be using in your bullet journal or your planner in the month of March. And do you have anything big coming up? Are you doing spring cleaning? Are you moving like I am? Is there something big coming up in your life? One other thing I would love to know from you in the comments below, do you batch your time? Do you try and put like tasks together? And if you do you have any tips? So let's just have all of that in the comments below. Like I've already said, I would love to see you this coming up Sunday, February 28th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time for my live Plan With Me, where I will be doing a weekly layout that is different than last month's. I'm still figuring out what that's going to be. And the replay will be available after, of course, so don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, wear a mask, all of those good things. And until next time, friends, peace out.